Well, hello YouTube, and a warm welcome to the Essentially Crypto channel. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm your host. And today we are going to take a look at the interview with Foster and Rhys that came in last night. Now, basically, the OMI utility program has come out, and we did a video on it the other day, sort of talking about a few different things in there, what we liked and what we didn't. And Rhys sort of cleared a few things up in this interview, and there's a few bits of extra sort of speculation, I guess, that that possibly may be in it, maybe in the next one. Who knows? There's going to be an AMA coming up, I believe, next Thursday or Friday anyway. But if you want to see the interview, then make sure you go and check it out on Foster's channel. There's a lot of information in there, and I'm going to pull out a few little bits here and there. I don't want to go through the whole interview, obviously, because I don't want to take your views away from the channel. But I thought I'd show you a few of the things that that sort of got me excited, essentially. So let's move over to that video, shall we? Which is just here, and let's move on to that first question. So the first question is at 11:52. So let's go to there.
But, you know, it's out there now. So no, I think at least my current understanding, any integration of OMI into another platform or protocol would probably be used more as a currency there than on ours. Now,
makes sense.
Dan and Dave, well, we're all incredibly ambitious people. And I think based on the numbers, we probably have the biggest NFT platform at the moment. So, you know, we might be able to get to a point where OMI becomes the NFT token, you know.
Well, yeah, it becomes the ETH of, you know, like how on OpenSea you use ETH to transact for all different types of NFT projects. OMI could conceivably one day become the token that many people use, you know, that isn't $4,000 for one token.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I mean, once OMI's ERC20, we have the web platform and things like that live, you know, we can enable swaps between ETH and OMI if you want to then use that to purchase collectibles and those kind of things, or between Tether maybe, or things like that, because it's a much easier bridge for people to understand.
Yeah.
So not only are we looking to integrate OMI into other platforms and protocols, we're also aiming to accept other payment methods that would swap into OMI and make things more accessible on ours.
Wow. And that would be likely facilitated directly by the MTL on the web platform, I would imagine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
So there you go. So this is the thing we were talking about a lot. We're talking about how when Veve integrate the MTL, they will be able to easily switch out OMI and other cryptos and that kind of thing. And that's basically what Rhys is talking about here. That is kind of the idea. So the Veve becomes the exchange. So no longer would you have to go to the exchange directly and, you know, buy your OMI through all of the different options. You'll be able to just go to the Veve app and you'll just be able to buy OMI. Whether or not you put in ETH to buy OMI, or whether you use fiat or whatever, you'll be able to buy OMI. Now, that sounds to me, from what he was saying there, it's almost like it's going to be in the web platform version only. So probably not in the app, and probably not in the app because of the fact that you've got all the Apple fees and the Android fees and all that kind of thing. Whereas if they do it on the web app only, then it means that they don't have all those fees associated with it. So that's pretty cool. So I've got a feeling it's going to be on there, not in the app itself, but even still, to be able to buy that sort of stuff in there is absolutely brilliant. And what they were referring to there just before is I cut a little bit off by mistake, but what Rhys was saying was that he couldn't believe that David said anything about the fact that other companies are going to be planning to use the OMI token. And I was thinking about this a bit the other day and wondering, well, what sort of companies would use it? And Caloscope is quite a new venture at the moment, and HelloK is part of that. So I've sort of seen some postings and stuff like that about Caloscope, and I joined the Discord and I've been following it, that kind of thing. And I saw a recent posting from them, and it was a Medium article. So let me show you this Medium article. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is here, and that is that Caloscope welcomes Venkatesh. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name. So Venkatesh, I hope I've pronounced that right. I probably haven't. But they welcome him anyway. And basically, he has already worked with Veve. So he's already been doing stuff with Veve to do with their system and that kind of thing. And I saw that they've got this game called Epiko Regal out. So I thought I'd have a little try of it and see what it's like. And it's a really cool game. Basically, you've got these little cards at the bottom of your screen. And I'll put some gameplay action on the thing for you now of me being very bad at it, because I'm rubbish at it, okay? But the point is that you've got these little cards, and you fight your little characters, and you send your little characters off to fight and to try and kill the other other three kingdoms, essentially. You've got three little thrones. There's three little kings on each one, and you send your characters across the other side of the playing field, so to speak, to try and kill those before they kill you. Essentially, that's the game. And to me, it's very, very difficult, but it's really fun to play and it's really addicting. And then they've also got another section in the app, and this is the interesting bit, and this is the bit that I guess that he recently worked on with Ecomi and stuff like that, and that is that in that bit you can actually see the NFTs, and the idea is that you can collect these NFTs, and as you level up your characters you get the NFT. Now, I don't think you officially own it. Now, I could be wrong on that one because I was just going through the app and I'm just looking, and there's not anything on there that seems to signal that you own this NFT. It just seems to be the character you get given in the first place, and then as you move on, then these NFTs, you collect them as you move up in, when you go to different parts of the world to play and all that kind, not like the real world, of that world, obviously. And when you first go into the app, when you go into the section there that's in 3D or AR, you actually have like a little world, and it spins around and you can select your players and all that kind of stuff. So you've already got a few that are there, and they also move as well. They're animated, just like Veve NFTs. They're animated, but I'm not sure if they're actually NFTs. However, would it be possible, or could it be that Veve, because they've already got all that ecosystem set up, and because they've already worked with this chap, maybe this game is going to be coming to Veve somehow, maybe in the metaverse or something like that, or maybe they're just going to take the platform of OMI and they're going to integrate it into their system, so that way all of their things actually become real NFTs if they're not already, or they can at least use the OMI token to transact in amongst that game. So this is just pure speculation. I don't know if this is going to be the case, but I found it quite interesting because I was playing the game, and when they said that they were going to they're gonna have other companies, what would be more beneficial than having companies they've already worked with, or companies that they already know have a product all ready to go?
Could it be something as simple as the fees would be less than using Ethereum or something like that, or?
Yeah. I mean, there's those kind of rudimentary reasons, but it's actually really difficult to create your own token, run a token sale, get people to see the value in that, especially if it's before you have a product live. I mean, we did it, and I would not want to do it again, right? So it's, I get.
Now, this game is already live, remember. It's already playable. If you go to Epiko Regal in your mobile phone, you can actually download the game and you can play it. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a token that's underpinning it. Again, I could be wrong. This is all just speculation. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't. And the fact that they've worked with them already possibly means there's some kind of link there.
They've done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, these other platforms launch and they can all use ETH as a universal currency, right? So if we really do aim at OMI being the universal NFT currency or something to that effect, it's easier to integrate a token that already exists, and for us, obviously great exposure for the token. We have the business development fund that is designed to help us permeate further into the industry.
Right.
So it's, I'd say that would be the core incentive. Now, obviously for us as a company to incentivize those things, sure, there'd be some sort of agreement or deal in place that would make it worth their while to use our currency instead of
course,
sand or something else, so it's
that's good. I think it's
So there you go. So it's possible that other companies, and I believe when David was talking about it, he actually said that coming next year, he actually said it in a way that means that they've already got deals in place for this to happen. So it wasn't just we think it might happen at some point. It was we have something coming next year. The way he said it to me anyway, is he said, coming next year, beginning of next year, or end of this year, beginning of next year, he said that we're going to have, the ability for other companies to be able to use it. So, it's very exciting times, because that way, I'm wondering how it's going to burn, whether it's going to burn the same way and all that kind of stuff. And he did ask about that anyway. Is it going to be the same sort of thing, or is it just going to be a currency? So they said it's going to be a currency for it, but I'm guessing there's got to be some kind of burn somewhere along the line. And also, if people are using it for currency, then that just means that in other games, for instance, if it goes to, Epiko Regal or whatever, it does mean that all the people who play Epiko Regal will then want to buy OMI, which means that in turn that will decrease the circulating supply, because people will want to buy it, or they want to, again, they might get different things inside their app that they use it for. So we don't really know exactly what's going on. It's all just speculation. But anyway, check out the game anyway. It's quite fun to play. So anyway, let's move on. So the next thing was this thing here, and that was all about the tiers. the tiers of the thing, and I said that I thought they should have a less than 1,000 tier, because a lot of people can't afford that amount of money. You know, for them it's a lot of money to put in crypto. I'm thinking about sort of third world countries here as well. You know, like not even third world countries, but just some people just don't have the money to put into crypto. So I thought that maybe just staking in general, but if you listen to what Rhys says here, it kind of makes sense.
The idea of a higher tier. Personally, it's hard, right? I know everybody, we're all in different countries, people are in different financial positions, all of those kind of things. I don't agree with a lower tier than a $1,000 tier. I understand that will be unattainable for some people, but the idea is to incentivize you to amass that much OMI, to be able to stake it, right? And whether that comes from, you know, the way that you interact with your collectibles. If you can sell some collectibles and then go and use that profit, you know, now that the MTL is coming in, you'll be able to take that money, buy your OMI and do it that way, right? And looking ahead, you'll be able to buy your OMI through the MTL, you know, when those integrations are there. So it becomes more accessible at that point. Now,
see, now he literally just said, as soon as the MTL comes into place, you're going to be able to buy your OMI through the MTL as well. Now, I don't know. This is the question I asked. This is what started the whole avalanche of whether or not other companies would use it, because I asked outright. I said, when the MTL comes in, are we going to be able to buy OMI directly straight away, or is that something that's going to come in at a later date? And he has just literally said just here that when the MTL comes in, you will be able to buy your OMI through it. So, but then again, he still hasn't answered the questions whether it comes at a later date or whether it comes straight away. So, you know, but the point is that it will happen. And when that happens, that's when, you know, it's going to go crazy. As he said, that it means that it's going to be easy to buy the OMI in the first place. So therefore it's going to be easier to get up to your, you know, your level that you want to get up to. You could sell some collectibles straight away, buy some OMI if you wanted to. So, you know, that's going to be an interesting catalyst, I guess, to see how this all plays out. Incidentally, one thing they did mention is that, and probably people didn't realise, Foster himself said he didn't realise, and that is that each of those tiers, you have to go through the process of each of those tiers before you can even get the rewards. So when you're staking for 1 month, you have to stake that entire month before you get the rewards at the end of that month. And the fast track is to simply burn that 1 month earlier, essentially. So you could pay that money and burn that OMI, and then you move on to the next tier. But then you still have to work your way through that tier as well, which means that if you want to fast track that one, you would have to burn the OMI there as well. And then finally, if you wanted to get to the third tier, you would have to burn that OMI as well, which means that you would have to burn all 3 sets of OMI in order to get to that tier in the first place, or you have to wait that set amount of time. So, you know, it's going to be quite crazy to see what happens when this comes out. How many people just burn straight away to jump to the third tier to be able to get the things, to be able to get the offers on the collectibles. And what you got to remember as well is I'm thinking about people who are coming into the app. I'm thinking about them saying, you know, who are spending just a couple of hundred here or whatever. But what I completely forgot, well, not really forgot, but I didn't really take into consideration as well, is you've got to think that there's already millions of people in the app already, or there's like 1 million users, isn't there, is what they're saying now. So, or 77,000 accounts or whatever, 1 million active users, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Now, we don't know how true the exact figures are, but obviously they're not inflating them that much, because we can tell from just trying to get the collectibles ourselves. But the point is that those figures means that all of those people who are actually using Veve have got an incentive to want to buy OMI. So all those ones who are not with OMI at the moment, who are not even buying it at all, have got incentive to buy OMI in the first place, which means that all of those people are essentially being advertised to us, or to OMI, which is essentially your users that you want anyway. So obviously you're going to get more people coming in when the token price goes up. But in the first place, those people, like, because we were saying, well, there's no incentive for people who are not Veve users. Well, it's kind of true in a way, but also, you know, a lot of people are Veve users who don't hold OMI. So the opposite is true as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these new alliterations change and what happens in them, and to see how, you know, how it affects essentially. But let's have a look at another bit, shall we? Let's go to about 47 in, give or take. And we're going to see what they say about... now, this was really interesting to me, this bit here. And it's basically saying, well, this guy asked about giving the leftover change in gems. They sort of bypassed that one and just said about the dust. They don't want to do anything with that, really. It'd be quite difficult to do.
Whether people would want to go for that, who knows? We can definitely put it to the community, and yeah, see what that's kind of see if it makes a difference. Yeah.
Cool. Fair enough. So I know that we've had the conversation about adding incentives, but then an incentive that is likely coming that we haven't been able to touch on as of yet, and it's referenced in the OMI utility article. Why isn't the Veve Verse announced yet? Well, because you guys haven't said anything about the Veve Verse. Is it safe to say that we should anticipate additional rewards and incentives for staking OMI once the Veve Verse comes out?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we've said it in a couple of AMAs anyway, right? So land purchases, avatars, homes, anything like that. Obviously, all those transactions are still underpinned by the token. So yeah. I mean, OMI will continue to be integral to everything that we build. Thanks, Omar. Appreciate it, bro. One suggestion I did see for the potential of a higher staking tier is maybe early access to land sales in the Veve Verse.
Yes.
Or something like that. So that.
Okay, so that might be a thing they do. So basically, if you get to tier 3 staking, you might get early access to land sales. So, and that's going to be a big thing for a lot of people. So even just, WoWs coming in who decide that they're not anything to do with Veve, they don't want the thing of Veve, they might want to stake as much OMI as possible, or not as much OMI as possible, but the amount they need to stake, essentially. They might want to burn through OMI to get to that tier just before land comes in, so that way they've got early access to the land sales. There's a possibility as well. Now, that does kind of make it a bit annoying for the people who are not staking or thinking and they want to get land themselves, but I guess that it is what it is. At the end of the day, when there's a higher price on something, I think it was Foster said that if you go to buy a house and then somebody puts in a bigger offer than you and you lose that house, then it is what it is, isn't it? It's the way of the world. The people with the more money manage to get the things better. So you can't really make it so that it's fair for everyone. It is what it is. But I thought that was kind of interesting there, and also the fact that. The renting collectibles and all that kind of thing. So we're going to move on to that now. So that's around about 123. So let's go to 123 on here. And he was talking about the fact that will you get extra... if you're renting out your collectibles. Now, this was a big one for me because people are saying, well, what's the point of renting collectibles? And I think the point of renting collectibles is really going to be apparent in the Veve Verse. That's going to be the main time that it's going to be apparent. But there are other reasons to rent out collectibles. For a start, some people like taking pictures with them, that kind of thing. So they might want to rent out one. It's a bit of a flex, isn't it? In that sense, you could say, well, what's the point of renting a Ferrari? Like, why rent a Ferrari for the day? Why do people do it? And it's purely so they can, drive around and flex. They got a Ferrari and people think they have a Ferrari. So I guess it could be the same kind of thing with that. Now, also, there's other reasons as well. And that is that in the Veve Verse, there might be certain places that are locked unless you have those collectibles. So I think it was somebody asked about the Marvel Mighties. Now, I'm not sure if I've queued that one up or not, so I'll check in a second. But there might be some places that are locked specifically, they were saying, and therefore you can't get in them unless you have that collectible. So therefore, renting that collectible would kind of come into play because you could then rent it to be able to go into that place to see what it's all about, maybe get an extra thing you needed to get in there or whatever, I don't know. And then you would then obviously send a collectible back, that kind of thing. But one thing they did touch on, and I thought this was kind of the reason to rent collectibles as well, and that was to get the points. So I'm not really sure whether this is going to change. This is something
that was actually a community question that I haven't focused on yet. So renting collectibles, I know it's not available, I think, until tier 3. So when you rent collectibles, are you getting paid in gems? Are you getting paid in OMI? Are you earning? And another question too was, if you rent a collectible, are you then earning master collector points for renting that collectible?
That one's a good question. I think same as anything we do, once OMI features are enabled, and you want to rent your collectibles, you can rent them for OMI or you can rent them for gems. Right? The same as kind of being able to transact. So I think that will be user choice, and that makes the most sense to me. So that's kind of what I would think there. What was the second part?
It was just about the MCP points. So someone had mentioned, if I rent, I'm never going to be able to afford to buy a Donnie. If I rent Donnie, do I get points for the day that I have the Donnie in my account, or is that just kind of like, hey, I want to bring it to a cool party, so I get it?
No, I think the points are designed for you collecting those items, right? For having those things. So yeah, renting Donnie might give you access to it, but you don't actually own it, right? You're renting it, so I don't think that you would get.
See, now I think that's a bit weird. I think that if you're renting something from someone, then you should essentially get the the perks that come along with that product. For instance, there's I think it's Splinterlands, and you've got like these different things you can rent from people, and people make money obviously from renting them out, and you can rent like characters, and you can use those characters to actually fight in the game, and when you fight with those characters, you're more likely to win, so therefore you get the rewards that come with renting those characters, and that's the reason to do it. In fact, in Splinterlands, if you wanted to, you could spend like $200 renting things, and then you can actually fight using them for the whole week, and you can actually make yourself a profit on top of what you rent for as well. So I've seen YouTube videos on that sort of idea, and that kind of, to me, was the reason to rent out your collectible, not just to go, hey, look what I've got, but to be able to actually use the properties of those collectibles. So I think that'll be an interesting one. I think they may need to change that, because to me, if I rent a Donny or something like that, the reason I would want to rent it is because of the fact that I'm getting the, the secret, is it secret rare? Or no, let's go with the platinum thingy. I would get that Ghostbuster set. I would get that platinum thing. I would want the collector's points for the days that I've rented it for. That to me is the reason to do it. But, maybe that will change, maybe it won't. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You've also got to think about the drivable stuff as well. And that's something as well. They said that the higher tier level gets special AR features. I wonder if those AR features are going to be about the drivability, that kind of thing. We already know that it's a possibility and it can come in. Also, the other thing is, are they going to do like a race game in the Veve Verse? Like you've got Rev Racing. The other day, I got airdropped a Rev Racing car, and I just entered into a competition to play. Now, it was really, really difficult, and I wasn't very good at it at all. But it was an NFT that actually was, a game, essentially. Rev Racing. I believe it's revracing.com or something like that. Check it out yourself. And you can basically race that car, and if you get in the top, then you win real money, So maybe they're going to do something similar in the in the Veve Verse. It'd be very easy to do. I wouldn't have thought it'd be that difficult. And you can use your Ghostbuster car, you can use your DeLoreans and all that kind of thing. Or maybe you're going to drive to each other's houses, and therefore if you wanted to rent one of those cars, you could then, you would be able to get all those features that you wouldn't be able to have if you didn't have one, essentially. So, maybe that's the reason for renting collectibles. I don't really know, but it's only tier 3 and higher that can get it, so I'm not going to be in that tier anyway, or not yet at least anyway. But I am trying to try and get up there at some point. Obviously that will be my aim, but at the moment I think I'm going to be stuck in tier 1 for a little while and then slowly move my way out to tier 2, because I'm probably not going to burn my OMI, because if I was to burn my OMI, that would be half my OMI gone and that would be the end of it. So yeah, but anyway, let's move on to the next thing.
They were in stock maybe not a couple weeks, it was like a month and a half ago, and someone texted me, they're like, they're in stock, and I was like, and I bought one, and then they were sold out like 2 hours after that. But do we know when they're going to be restocked?
Yeah, so I thought it was 6 months ago, frankly, but I think we've been victim to the chip shortage, huge increases in shipping costs, all of those kind of things. So I don't have a date, but I've just kind of blanketed and said sometime in 2022 now, because I thought we'd have them already. Now, as some of you know, we do have licensing rights to brand those wallets. So we could have some Marvel branded wallets or Disney branded wallets, things like that.
Cool. So I shouldn't even have bought one yet. Oh my
goodness. Right. And we definitely still have the plans to create that as a shelf ready retail product, right? To buy the wallet and it comes with a redemption for an NFT or something like that. The system to do that hasn't quite been fully designed yet, because we would either have to keep an allocation for those or have them set aside. But we definitely have that in the sights to continue to bridge that physical digital collecting gap.
So there you go. So that's the crazy thing. It's still on track to do, and that is the retail side of it. We talked about this before. That's going to make everything go massive, because if you can go into Tesco's or or your local shop or whatever, and you can buy an Ecomi wallet with a digital collectible inside it as a free redeem or whatever, then and it's not going to be the proper secure wallet. I believe it's going to be a scaled down version of it, which is going to be a lot cheaper. So it's literally just going to be people who want to hold their collectibles, and they're going to have them on a secure wallet, and that's it. And they're going to even have apparently a little window where they can see what their collectibles are and all that kind of thing. So that's going to be a big flex for people as well at the same time. And also it's just going to be like a good Christmas present and stuff for people to buy, isn't it? So like, I've got you one of these, it's an NFT. And people are going to start knowing about NFTs, because you've got to think about, you've got a lot of places now that are starting to, obviously Binance released their thing, so people know about that. But Coinbase, one of the biggest ones, they're coming out with their NFT platform very, very soon. And the interesting thing about about the Coinbase one is they're actually partnered with Immutable X. So therefore, Coinbase NFTs are going to be on Immutable X. So does that mean that there's a really simple leap there for Veve and Ecomi to jump into Coinbase as well? Who knows? We would only find out. So as always, don't take this as financial or investment advice in any way, shape or form, because as we know, crypto can go up and it can make you lots and lots of money, or it can go down and you can completely lose your shirt. But either way, that is essentially crypto. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.